Hey folks, welcome to the oceans of old school RuneScape. Now, if you're a regular viewer on my channel, you might be thinking, what is an Arknight's guy doing on old school RuneScape and why is he like this? And if you're an old school RuneScape player who clicked on this video, you might be thinking like, why is this guy in full melee when you can't halberd these guys? I'll get there, but first some housekeeping and context. So my name is Dr. Socrates. I'm an independent creator of guides, goofs, and good thoughts. And I'm usually playing Arknights, but I decided to take a break from Arknights for a while. I was still actively playing. I'm still playing it now. IS6 is very fun. But I have taken a vacation to Gielinor to kind of do a little soul searching and have a little fun. Now, this account's just a regular old main account. Kind of respectable. You know, I've got my achievement diaries done too, except for frickin' Candor, and I'm not setting foot in Barbarian Assault. But here we are, and this account is bond to bond, right? I generally do not play for membership because right now I'm looking for a job, and that hasn't been working out for me. So it's kind of rough, but it is what it is, and that is the most efficient way of making money in this game. But as a result, this does impact my my play style, and this is most apparent in the way that I invest into supplies and upgrades. If it's more expensive than 1 mil, I'm probably not interested. I try my best to not use too many expensive supplies like potions or like expensive food. And so generally speaking, if I can play in a way that develops my account and makes steady profits without having to rely on rare drops, which I will sell extras of, don't get me wrong, then I'll do so. If I'm going for those rare drops, I'm usually trying to fill out the collection log here, and just kind of have it as a permanent upgrade to my account. Case in point, I could sell my Basilisk Jaw from my Natus Not Face Guard here, but that wouldn't make sense since, the bond money is going to burn up naturally over time, and I'd rather just, keep the stuff that I farm myself, and you'll see another example of that later in this video. So now we get to more recently now that Sailing has been released, and I like it. It's been fun. I streamed it on release, but nobody's watching that, so I don't really stream OSRS too often unless I have something special to go over here. But it's been fun for the most part, and I really like the way that the skill is pretty varied in what you can do to train it. And I was trying to get into deep sea trawling for the fishing boats, right? Since that seems to be a good way to make money, and I've got 92 fishing, so I think I could catch a few marlins out there and make some bank. Problem is that building the fishing boat with my budget is just not happening, right? I'd have to pay like 8 mil in ray barbs. Oh hey, there we go. We got the narwhal horn, so I can build the chum station now. I'm gonna stay out here to finish my bounty tasks. Didn't expect to get that while recording, but here we are. I apologize, by the way, if you're used to my more polished videos, since this is going to be off script, just kind of improv. I've got some notes here to go over. But yeah, I've just been trying to fill out the collection log slots for the deep sea creature combat stuff. And I've gone and farmed my manta rays. So I've got that. I'm well on my way there. I think after this, all I need to do is fight orcas for the Fathom Pearl, which I guess that's cheap. I could buy it myself, but I think I'm going to farm it out thanks to this little situation I've got going on here. Now, ship combat in Sailing is also kind of expensive, right? You burn through cannonballs unbelievably fast, and so I could buy or smith the good ammo, but we're just going to be burning that up, and I just don't find that fun. So the only real way to accumulate a good amount of ammo to stay out here and just keep going is to buy it from the cannonball stall over in Port Roberts. But you can only really reliably get bronze and iron cannonballs from that, so I've got a little stockpile here, and we've just been kind of burning through those. And I'm saving the better cannonballs for stuff that actually demands it, like the Krakens or anything that hits above what my keel can tolerate, since repair costs are even more expensive. So naturally, I just kind of want to pair the expense of what I'm spending with what I'm actually doing. And so these low intensity creatures, right? These low max hit creatures are much better on the wallet and can allow me to build towards what I want. And Thankfully, the fishing boat drops that I need come from these like lower hitting creatures, so that's pretty nice too for this situation. But it's still pretty awful. I'm not a fan of cannon wiggling and like trying to finagle my boat, so I figured, okay, I'll bring a weapon myself and see what I can do. But I don't want to burn ranged weaponry either. I have a toxic blowpipe. I got really lucky at Zulrah for that, so I didn't have to go buy my own, even though it's also kind of a cheap one. But that costs scales, and scales cost more upkeep, and that's not something I want to do either. And so I kind of like just started digging through my bank and using Gearscape, which is a DPS calculator that No Monkey was promoting, and it's a really good calculator. Shout out to No Monkey for really spreading the word about how good it is and how useful it is to use. And so while I was going around in Gearscape, I was thinking, okay, I could. Ooh, there's a 27 on it right there. I could use like my more expensive gear. I could use like my blowpipe, but that's just gonna cost a lot of money. So I tried to start, trimming down options. We can't use halberds out on the open seas too. So melee is usually the most sustainable form of combat, and that's not working out either. So what's a guy to do? And then I was just looking through, and then I came across my old favorite, the Tecu Salamander. Now I didn't catch this myself, although I do have the hunter level for it. It does take a while, but these are like relatively cheap. If we hit examine here, 189k. That's not too bad. I shelled out the money for a Tecu Salamander, and it's not a great weapon. Let's be real. It's a 5-tick weapon unless you're using the ranged style, which is 4 ticks. But it has a slash melee. It has a ranged option, which I think is probably medium ranged. It's not light or heavy. And then it has a magic option, which is also 5-tick. That grants magic XP. I know it says defensive here, but it grants magic XP. So, yeah, this thing is terrible. It's basically a 1-tile ranged weapon that can only hit the adjacent tiles, although it can hit in all 8 tiles around it, so you can use it to corner trap and safe spot certain things, but again, not great. But yeah, this is, as you saw earlier, we hit a 27 on camera with a melee salamander. Escape. I was thinking, okay, I could. Ooh, there's a 27 on it, and I think this is the only way you can inflict melee damage on sea creatures in the current state of old school RuneScape sailing, which is it's December 22nd when I'm recording this, so not too far after release, and a few of the updates are out. So they clamped down on like the amount of damage that you can do with like normal weapons from land. And the way that the damage calculation works is that anything that's not a cannon is usually dealing a reduced max hit version of themselves. So like the damage is reduced after the max hit is calculated. So only in very rare situations will you actually be able to hit your max hit for any weapon that you use. And so, naturally, if you're using more expensive weapons, like you are just bleeding cash. You're using runes, you're using ammo, and all of that starts adding up real quickly, even with like ammo conservation, or if you do all the damage optimization. So here we are using a salamander, and the salamander also uses ammo, and I've got a setup here that uses non-degradable equipment in the interest of cost efficiency. The salamander uses ammo, but this is Irit tar, right? All of the salamanders in the game use different types of tar that is basically like a waste product from very AFK herb lore training, where you use like lower tier amounts of herbs and you combine it with swamp tar to make herb tars with a mortar and pestle. And since I'm a main that kind of plays like an Iron Man, I guess, in the terms of like self-sufficiency, I like to call it Iron Maining. Yeah, and anything that's like super expensive to upkeep, I try to avoid. But when you look at this is only 11 GP each, according to this search bar. I think earlier it was like 7 GP. I've been buying it at like 9 GP per tar, and the buy limit's like 1100 for this tar. So right now it's very cheap. I don't foresee this video making too much of a dent in terms of market manipulation. Let's be real, because people are gonna be just dumping their extra herbs and keeping a good stock, and Zulrah always drops a bunch of tar as well, so there's another source to kind of feed into it. So this is going to be very, very cheap ammo that I can restock on very quickly without too much like fuss, right? Like I'm not smithing cannonballs with that upfront cost. I'm not mining ore. This is just pretty simple. It's like as if I'm buying from the shop, like with these iron cannonballs here. And so what we have, is a ranged weapon that hits very, very hard, even with like the damage clamps. And these monsters, most of these sea creatures have like very low defense, especially these low intensity ones. And so I can just sit here with the Salamander, just dealing harder hits than my crewmate on the cannon here. And with us combined, it hits harder than me operating this cannon. I know I could get some extra DPS with wiggling, and just with anything in this setup, you feel free to bump up the total damage and stuff as you wish, right? Like this is a perfect blend for me to be playing RuneScape with because of my circumstances, and that's the main driving point that I want to hit home with in terms of why I'm even bothering with this silly lizard. So yeah, we have this setup going, and it works well. And even though we only have one tile of range, the Southwest True Tile applies here, so we can still sort of hit this. It's kind of weird. It seems to work better with the right side of the boat rather than the left. So let's say I flipped my boat around and started attacking this narwhal using the left side of the boat, right? Now it looks like I'm close to that, but if I click, we're not attacking with the Salamander. And I think it's because I think the true tile, or quote-unquote true tile of the boat in terms of like player weapons is like somewhere on the upper right. So if we just like rotate ourselves around, already we're able to hit it from this position, but ideally we have our boat facing this way. And yeah, we can just kind of hit them from like, who like clear across the boat. It's so weird. It's super jank. I'm sure there's someone who can probably take this and go further with it than me. But yeah, it's kind of weird. And best of all, there's something that you can do to make this even better. So since they have low defense, right? Accuracy is kind of mostly a non-issue. Like, yeah, we're gonna miss every once in a while. But the hit chance, according to Gearscape, is like 80%, or 88%. Really good hit chance. You can use strength bonus to make this even better. So I have a dragon battle axe. I'm going to use the special attack. And if you don't have a dragon battle axe, or if you want to just avoid the debuffs, you can go capture a black warlock, which is a hunter butterfly. And you can find one really fast, either by using Rada's Blessing and going to the minecart system. So you use the Rada's Blessing teleport, minecart teleport over to the farming guild. And inside this area right here, there is a trio of butterflies, the Ruby Harvest, the Sapphire Glacialis, and the Black Warlock that buffs attack, strength, and defense. And there's also a Snowy Night spawn there, so it's also a really good way to butterfly jar up some healing as well. So that's one option. The other option is the Pendant of Ates, which brings you here, down in Castori, and there is a Black Warlock spawn, just the one, somewhere in this area, usually very, very close to here. So you can just teleport there and grab a buff and then like put one into a jar so that you can unbottle it here and just get your strength boost. It's basically the same strength boost as the Dragon Battle Axe here, but since I have the Dragon Battle Axe, I don't mind the debuffs. I'm just gonna wait it out, and we'll just be chilling. And yeah, this thing slaps. We saw the big hit earlier. I think Gearscape is telling me that the theoretical max hit for this setup, while buffed with a Dragon Bax, is 41. Which is bonkers, because the max hit for like a rune cannon with rune cannonballs is like 36. You can only get like 46 max hit with like a dragon cannon and cannonballs when you're like buffed and then manning the cannon yourself. So already we're entering some very strange and wacky tobacco territory here. So fantastic stuff. And cost efficiency wise, this is actually better than like a blowpipe and steel darts. Now I do have a rosewood blowpipe. I went and fished the squid beaks, and then rosewood is actually very cheap as far as the logs are concerned. So I just went ahead and bought that to bypass the little bit of wood cutting that I'd have to grind out to get those. Although I will say that ironwood logs are fantastic, and I think I should be doing some more wood cutting training soon. But yeah, even with a rosewood blowpipe to save on upkeep costs from not having to use Zulrah scales, steel darts, even though those are like dirt cheap, they're like 5 GP a piece. One, we're going to be burning through them faster because of the faster attack speed, and we're still going to be burning through them at an appreciable rate, even with stuff like Ava's Assembler, right? And I don't have as many ranged strength bonus gear as I do melee strength because of the nature of the gear ladder. So yeah, Tombs of a Mask has not been kind to me, even though I can grind like 150s. It doesn't really get much better than that for where I'm at right now. So and naturally, I have a lot of more strength bonus stuff lying around that doesn't degrade as well, so that's kind of huge. And so I'm able to get, like, you know, more DPS for the cost than the steel darts, and that to me is amazing. But I mean, if a blowpipe's what you've got, then go ahead and use that. If you're an actual Iron Man instead of an Iron Main like me, then maybe you're probably using something like the Hunter's Sunlight Crossbow. Or like the Dorgeshin crossbow with bone bolts, or like the antler bolts for the previous option. Something like that. Something that you can reliably restock in terms of, you know, keeping the gravy train rolling here. So yeah, this is quite a nice little niche that I have here. Now, I think I'm gonna go back to port real quick to re-gear after this kill, just so I can show you guys something a little different here, and the actual way that I'll be using this salamander here out at sea. And so right now we're in melee gear, and that's pretty good. But I did the calculations for other combat styles as well, and so you know, this is fine. Like we can self-sustain even the repair costs too from like the port task bounty rolls. That's been giving me a nice little trickle of gold. Oh, there we go. We got a narwhal tusk. Just what I was looking for. Perfect timing. So let's go sail back to port, and I'm going to switch my gear setup into something that I would like to use instead with the salamander. So obviously, if you want to like use range, then you're better off either operating the cannon yourself, or, you know, maybe you do cannon plus blowpipe. That's also a decent-ish combo. But again, surprisingly enough, you get slightly better damage with my stats and this setup and context with the melee setup. And again, shoutouts to Gearscape for this. Their best in slot calculator is very, very robust, and I appreciate that that feature a lot. And they also have the sailing damage calculators for the cannonballs in the actual regular DPS calculator that they have. So that's also a really good way to like kind of compare and contrast your options here, with or without Peril Dance Bitter, or whether or not you or the crewmates are operating the cannon. So yeah, let's go run back to the bank here. I'm going to unequip all my melee gear, and we are going to get over. Let me punch in my bank pin very, very fast there. I don't want to get that on camera. Probably blur it in editing too. I'm going to do very light editing for this. But yeah, we're just going to stash my melee gear away, and then the narwhal horn in the sailing tab that I have in my mess of a bank. And we're going to pull out a full void magic setup. Oh, man. Again, if your circumstances are different, if you've got like money to burn on a shadow or like good spells, by all means go for it. But this is the way that I play the game, and oh, this is gonna be silly. Also, instead of the dragon battle axe, I'm gonna take my saturated heart. I did get lucky enough to get ones, and so I was just thinking to myself, yeah, I'm not I'm not selling this bad boy once I get it. So yeah, over here in Slayer, I've got my imbued heart. I got it killing drakes, of all things. I usually try to kill any Slayer monsters that have any superiors, and I won the lottery on that one, so I'm feeling good about that. And I decided the investment for the essence to empower it into the saturated heart was cheap enough for me, even with bond costs. So I figured, yeah, I might as well grab that. So now we have a magic-based setup. I know my stats are still kind of regenerating here, so we won't have full boost, but at full boost I will get 110 magic right now with my magic level. But basically, the Salamander, when you attack with the magic style, it acts similarly to a powered staff in terms of how well it scales with damage. And so you just need a visible magic level to make things work over on this Salamander. And so if we go over here and start maging the or maging these narwhals, then yeah, we'll be good to go. I think I still have another task, right? Or did I not? Oh yeah, I took up another task. We might get lucky, but yeah, invigorate the sat heart, and we get now it's just plus 11 instead of plus 13. But yeah, we can mage this too. It's beyond silly. This is where we're at in terms of sailing combat right now. Just scraping the bottom of the barrel so that we can save our good cannonballs. But yeah. Whether you melee or range with this thing, it's or mage rather with this thing, it's pretty good. Obviously, you'd probably get like maybe better magic XP by taking this to say the gemstone crab, right? This is a good, very painfully cost-efficient way to train your magic over at the crab for 10 minutes at a time. But I figured, you know, when I'm picking weapons for sailing combat, like if everything's gonna get damage clamped, I'm thinking if everything's terrible, then nothing is terrible, and this is the Salamander's time to shine, as it were. So pretty proud of myself for coming upon this, and I just want to take a moment to kind of reflect on sailing combat as a whole, right? Because we're resorting to this method. It's absolutely crappy XP per hour. It's not great damage, and it's not even great like GP per hour too, right? Like, is it good for XP? No. Good for actual money? No. Is it good for getting the thing done fast? No. But is it cost efficient? Oh yes. But yeah, we don't have as much tools to make the sailing combat aspect as robust as normal old school RuneScape combat. Now, I mean, credit where credit is due. They managed to make a system that feels very old school from the get-go. I think if you compared this to the combat that the game first had before it had like years upon years to refine itself and get better over time, I think they did a pretty good job like staying faithful to like the old school vibe. But unfortunately, this sort of classic, you know, very simplistic system of just, you know, click monster and then upgrade the gear ladder, or in this case the ship ladder, the ship facility ladder. It doesn't really hold up when you compare it right next to the robust combat system that we have of old school RuneScape, where you've got prayers, you've got tick flicking, you've got the 100 BPM rhythm game that is Leviathan. You know, there's all sorts of ways to make the combat a lot more robust, and you know, the three styles and whatnot, and we just don't see that in sailing's current iteration, and it is very much a money sink rather than just like, you know, other ways to train combat that don't drain your resources you know, terribly. So there's room to improve. Let's take this Orca task here. I think those are like just off the coast, that line there. I probably need to look that up. But yeah, we're at that point where the old school team does have a chance to kind of you know, do some stuff with this whole system, and I hope they do. I've already submitted my sailing survey, and like one of the things that I want to see is maybe just incorporating the combat styles again. Maybe we get you know, ramming prows, and so we get a melee option, or maybe we get more kinds of cannonballs, or like a magical way to you know, do ship combat. So maybe there's like a magic cannon catalyst or something. Okay, here we go. We got the orcas right here. So there's one idea. The other thing I am missing is that the main game has like a whole bunch of like, you know, special depth mechanics to it. So like maybe we have for example, the vampire krakens is my favorite example. Is that these vampire krakens aren't considered actual vampires, and that pisses me off. Like, you're gonna tell me that, you know, we have an entire quest line. We have an entire quest line dedicated to anti-vampiric weaponry, and the best way to kill a vampire kraken is earth spells. Like where are the silver cannonballs? Where are like the blister? Where's the blisterwood prow? For that matter. There's a lot of room for improvement in that regard, and I hope we get to see it, sooner rather than later. I think another idea I had was like, we don't really have much integration with Hunter yet, so maybe we have a hunter creature like a salamander that we can have guarding our ship, and we can have that as another weapon source rather than just good old cannons, right? Metal cannons. It's a nice alternative grind, and having options in RuneScape combat has like always been like one of my more favorite things about it. So we have room to explore that a little bit. Nice. I should probably use one of my many repair kits. I shouldn't be stingy, since it is technically more gold efficient to use that if you're just buying it straight up, and then have a crewmate with high deck handiness use it, because you might get a little bit more bang for your buck than what you would get normally just using it yourself. So of course the shipyard repairs is also pretty good, so again, the port task gold helps a lot with sustaining it, although these orcas, they're hitting harder, so they are actually punching through my keel defenses with my crappy damage. So this is one of those times where, yeah, maybe we'll break out like the mithril cannonballs for this, but again, lots of ways to take this in a different way, and I probably will continue to use this low intensity method to just farm up a little bit more and get my fishing boat, or maybe some parts for a proper combat ship before I take on some more lucrative targets, or maybe I'll finally get a Frost Dragon's task as well. As you can see, I'm buying steel darts because having it as a backup is kind of okay. You could use the rosewood blowpipe as a backup here, or as a spec weapon if you want to like use your spec energy. And sometimes naturally you're gonna have like better you're gonna have better results with certain like gear combinations against different targets, and so I think I will probably take like the toxic blowpipe to maybe poison stuff over down there, and I will probably not use I'll probably not use expensive darts if I'm just going to use it to poison, so steel darts it is, and so I can just kind of let that sit there and cook quite idly, if I do say so myself. And yeah, maybe I'll go back to albatrosses too. This is probably a good one for those, since albatrosses are very, very small in terms of their hitbox, so it's kind of easier to get in there and with our short, stubby range to try and get some clean salamander hits there. Anyways, I've gone on for long enough here. This lasted for what, 27 minutes according to OBS. I don't really have much to say otherwise right now, and I'm not really sure how to end off this video other than just kind of a status update on where I go from here. I am working on some Arknights videos, so those will be done in probably next year at this point, because it's the end of December, the holidays are hitting, and then we're just gonna be doing some other stuff to kind of celebrate a little bit, but also the stuff that I have been working on needs a little bit more polish to actually present, and so it's going to be nothing like this video, I'll tell you that much. I will do that in a clean takes and not be hemming and hawing around with like this dinky little note card to my side. Ooh, we got a nice little 15 there. So, look forward to that. I don't know if I'm going to do more old school RuneScape videos like this unless I find something else that's pretty cool to share. But, I figured, I might as well share a little bit of what I've been doing here, and this cool thing that I found that I can say was my own discovery rather than just kind of following the usual course of action here. And who knows, maybe throughout all of these bounty tasks I'll inadvertently get the suit pet, as it were, or maybe I'll go back to courier tasks for that and see if I can't add another pet to the collection. Incidentally, I think I submitted my clip to RuneScape Chronicles when I got the fishing pet while I was playing Arknights while I was doing fishing on my phone here. So from the get-go, this channel's been very interweaved with different games that I play. I've also been playing a lot of Warframe recently, thanks to the update and the event going on. It's offering some pretty decent rewards, so I've been trying to take advantage of that. And I know this is probably gonna this kind of video might, you know, throw the algorithm off and being like, oh, what do I recommend this channel to? And you know, if you unsubscribe, then, you know, I understand. Like, you have to be in control of what you're watching at these days, and try to make sure that you're supporting the creators that you actually want to support, rather than just letting the algorithm choose for you. You know, there's a balance to be had. You do want to discover new stuff, and I do hope that this video goes out to the right people, and also maybe inspires others to maybe pick up old school again, just like I did with Asadekai. I hope Asadekai is not the last person I pull from the Arknights crowd to try out old school RuneScape. But yeah, we'll see what happens in 2026. Hopefully it's a better year. Hopefully I have a job by then, so that I don't have to necessarily be trying and failing to sustain myself with this channel here. This channel doesn't even have enough subscribers to get like the Arknights end field. Ooh, nice hit, 28. This doesn't have enough subscribers to do the Arknights Enfield content creator program, so I can't do that. I can't really do sponsorships without subscribers, since the numbies are important. So while I personally don't care about how much subscribers I have, unfortunately my bank account does, and sponsorships do. So you know, if what I'm doing here in general is good enough for you, then I'd appreciate the support in any way that you can. I do have a Patreon as well, where I put the transcripts from my longer form videos on Arknights up there too, so check that out if you would like to have something to not watch, but actually, like, you know, control F and read through like the olden days, as it were. And yeah, I don't know how to end the video off otherwise. I'm sure I probably said that already. That's gonna be editing Sock's job to figure out. So thanks for watching. I appreciate you listening to the rest of this. Go out, get sailing, start slaying some monsters and see what you can find, and start thinking of new ways to enjoy the game that you already love. And maybe you might find the next the next silly interaction like this, and you'll be all the better for it. So take care, and may your grind stand the test of time.